Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. It's that time again. Alright, so in today's video I'm going to be giving you some of my tips and tricks on how to complete Inktober this year, because I started it in 2017 and I didn't have a clue on how to complete it, and I found myself very stressed. I did manage to do it, but I was like running out of ideas constantly. Okay, so I have here my old Inktober sketchbook from 2020, and basically these are all the little drawings I did for 2020. I'm going to try and go big this year. So yeah, right, I think first off we should get into the supplies. So for the supplies, I am going to do my setup, what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do like an alternate setup, something like cheaper. So this year I'm going to be using the 2021 Viviva Colours sketchbook, which I will do an unboxing of once I receive it. So yeah, sketchbook is number one. I'm going to be using the Viviva colour sheets, obviously the autumn ones. Highly recommend these, they're really cool. But yeah, it won't be this palette, but it will be Viviva colour sheets. Also going to be using some Unipin fine liners because they're waterproof and fade proof. I'm holding that to them, so if I end up inking a piece and putting some Viviva colours over it and it smudges, I'll be contacting the company. Yes, so I'm going to be using these ranging from 0.01 to 0.8, and I'm also going to be using the brush pen, but there's also going to be the Uniball, white gel pen to add some highlights, and a Pentel Pocket Kuretake brush pen, if that's what it's called. Yes, so they're the ones that I'm going to be using, but I also wanted to show an alternate one. Say you're on a budget or something, you could use some post-it notes. So you could draw on 31 post-its, which I think is pretty cool. You can use a standard Bic pen or any ballpoint pen, or you could even use a Sharpie if I had one to hand. And you can also use highlighters as well, which I think is a great addition. I'll use an example. So you could just take any really, but I have a Bic highlighter, a blue one. So yeah, you could colour in with highlighters. And each one always makes for a great piece anyway. I think what I could do next year is probably just use budget stuff and do like a a budget themed Inktober, which I think is really good because I tend to like think too much into it and worry about what I'm doing basically. And think, oh no, it needs to be perfect, but it doesn't. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the tips. Okay, so the first tip I'd recommend is, if you're following the prompt list, to always have the prompt list on hand. Now, you could either print it out from the internet, or you could even put it in your book itself. So that's what I did here for this year. I basically just wrote all the words out, and I recommend that because it's something you can always refer back to, so you're not having to constantly search up the prompt list. Yeah, that's tip one I'd recommend. Now the next thing is to make thumbnails for each prompt. So I think I actually did that in this one. Yeah, so you can see I decided to put my weeks into categories. So week 1 is Disney, week 2 Nickelodeon, week 3 Looney Tunes, and week 4 Hollow Knight. If you're not doing a theme, you can just like sketch out thumbnails like this. So this is a spoiler for actually what I'm thinking of doing for this year, so I won't show any more of that. But yes, I'd highly recommend that as well. And I'd also recommend like researching each word. So going onto Google, typing it in and seeing what comes up, or you know, seeing what the first thing comes to mind when you think of each prompt, and just write it down, because even just writing it down can help as well. Now let's say you're not following the prompt list, which some people might not if they think it's a rubbish list. Last year. Yeah, if you're not following the list, you could do what I did and follow themes for each week, or you could look for inspiration around you. It could be objects, it could be wildlife, anything on YouTube, interests like games, anything you're interested in basically. You could make fan art, just things like that. Alright, so say you're using a colour palette, the next thing I recommend is swatching out the colours, just so you can see what tones you can get from dark to light, and the mid-tones as well. And you could even use markers as well to like enhance drawings, as well as coloured pencils. I definitely recommend doing that. Or you could take a sketch, put it into you know, a tablet or digital program, and colour swatch it there. So when it comes to doing the actual piece, you already know what you're going to do. So I'm going to be doing that this year. I'm going to be taking my sketches into Procreate, making them all nice and neat, and then transferring it onto an actual page, doing the colour swatch. So when I come to paint, I already know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to ruin the finished piece, because I can't tell you how many times I've got to paint something, loved the sketch, and then completely ruined it because I got the colours all wrong. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that. Alright, so the next thing that I recommend, I'm actually just going to flip through my sketchbook as I tell you this as well. You could look for a specific style to do, or you could go a story route. So excuse me, let me just take my phone silent. Yeah, you could look for a story route, so make a story based on the prompt words. I know a lot of people did that last year, which was really cool. I think Jake Parker himself actually did that. So you could create a character, make them go on a journey, and then write a story using the words. I think some people have actually made poems as well from the prompts, and then just done like a little illustration that explains the poem, which I think is a really cool idea. And then finally, I'd highly recommend setting breaks. I don't know about you, but say you sat down and you lose track of time, and then eventually you become exhausted, which can then make mistakes. You could just make mistakes, and you can also get tired or fed up and not want to carry on. So I do think it's important to set breaks, because I think it'll reduce stress, and then each time you come back the next day, you're ready to go. Alright, so I hope you guys found this useful. If anybody else in the comments or anyone watching this has any more ideas or things I have missed to help you get through Inktober, please comment them below so we can help each other out. And yeah, let me know if you're taking part this year, because I love to make new friends during Inktober. I think it's great finding new artists, so yeah, just leave a comment below. And I guess it's really important just to have fun, and if all else fails, you can always just wing it. Okay, bye.